In the making for over 8 years, Blueprints is an atmospheric, architectural roguelite adventure game played from a first-person perspective, and it took me completely by surprise. It merges mystery, incredible design, unbelievable depth, and satisfying strategy to make something frighteningly addictive. I couldn't stop playing, and hold on to your butts because it might just be one of the best games I've ever played. This is the XboxEra review for Blueprints. In Blueprints, you play as young 14-year-old Simon P. Jones, heir apparent to the mysterious Mount Holly, a sprawling 45-roomed mansion estate that was owned by recently deceased and renowned puzzler Herbert S. Sinclair. Now that he's shuffled off this mortal coil, he's left it all to you. But there's a catch. In order to become the new owner of Mount Holly, you must reach the long-rumoured but never actually confirmed Room 46. It sounds simple enough, but this mansion is anything but simple. The house itself is split into 45 identically sized rooms, and at the very top, the mysterious antechamber, which will be your primary goal to reach when you start your journey in Blueprints. Is it the way to room 46? Well, you'll have to figure that one out for yourself, I'm afraid. Starting each day in the entrance hall, you'll decide the layout of the estate room by room, discovering new rooms to explore and plenty of mysteries to solve along the way. Anytime you reach a closed door in Mount Holly, the game will offer up a choice to draft one of 3 unique rooms, ranging from bedrooms, hallways, garden rooms, and more for you to select. Some have multiple exits, some are just dead ends that force you to double back and try an alternate route, and most have some sort of clue to all sorts of wider mysteries. You're equipped with just 50 steps that you can take, the count whittling down every time you pass through a doorway. Run out of steps and your day exploring the estate is over, forcing you to start again anew tomorrow. And surprise, the rooms have all reset and you must begin from scratch. There are ways to increase your step count, allowing for more exploration of course. Find food, say fruit, while exploring for example, and it'll give you a few precious extra steps to take. The rooms themselves are varied and hugely detailed, each supplying the player with various perks or debuffs on each run, depending upon the type of room you draft. The type of room is colour-coded, with purple bedrooms tending to replenish steps in some fashion, and red rooms typically having some sort of negative consequence. Green rooms are nature-focused and usually can only be placed on the edges of the 45-room grid. The orange hallways tend to allow for more connections to other rooms than usual, and gold rooms act as shops where the player can pick up new supplies, be it food or equipment. There are also other types of rooms, but to share more would spoil things, and you don't want that. Beyond the apparent perks of each room, be they good or bad for the player, each also contains, in some form at least, a puzzle or a document with a clue to something else, or important context around the broader narrative that acts as the backdrop for the game. I've lost count the number of times I've discovered something in one room that's linked to another room, that's linked to another puzzle, and so on. These eureka moments of discovery are wonderful, and I would wholeheartedly recommend keeping a pen, paper nearby at a minimum, or your phone handy just when playing so you can note stuff down or quickly take a screenshot. The constant drip feed of information that leads to discovery, that leads to new information, it consistently builds, is always satisfying, and frankly, is some of the most intricate and incredible game design I've ever seen. This is all layered against a backdrop of political and familial intrigue, and the story, yes, there is one, is doled out through a variety of methods, be it found letters or interesting clue-laden cutscenes. As you play, you'll start to obtain 3 primary consumables. First up, there's cold hard cash. This can be used to buy food or equipment, and it can be found randomly throughout the manor. Next up, there are keys. In certain runs, as you progress deeper into the manor, you'll encounter locked doors which require keys to open. If you run out of keys, then you'll be unable to progress, forcing you to call it a day, start a fresh run the next day. And lastly, there are gems that, like coins, can be found strewn throughout the manor. These are used as a resource to draft rarer and more unique rooms, and like keys, can force a run to end if you don't have what you need and are forced to draft a dead-end room instead of the one you wanted. However, despite the medley of genres on display here, be it puzzle games or point-and-click adventures, there is always the rogue-lite element to contend with. Some runs are just not going to go the way you want, and some players may get frustrated when the game turns around and simply denies them progress. And herein lies the beauty of Blueprints, in that sometimes the definition of what a successful run is will change. Perhaps now getting to the antechamber isn't the primary goal, but solving the puzzle you found a clue for is the current goal, and so on. Beyond consumable items, there are also other things you can find whilst exploring Mount Holly. There's a variety of equipment you can utilise, be it a metal detector, a sledgehammer, a magnifying glass, and more. There's even a wrench that, if equipped, can let you adjust the rarity of each room you draft. Each new item kicks off another layer of investigation, and when you discover a room that can let you modify these items to combine them together to create entirely new things, or perhaps a room that lets you check an item to be retrieved on another run, so it opens up more possibilities. You can also, through a mechanic I won't detail here, upgrade rooms to permanently improve or change them, adding another layer of meta progression as you work towards your various goals and unlock fully permanent additions for all future runs. Graphically, the game is lovely to look at, with this sort of sketched, cel-shaded and minimalist style that works well on the smallest of props to the expansive mansion estate. The music ranges from ethereal moods to playful, with all sorts of motifs kicking in at just the right time, and some of them even being room dependent. Draft the music room, for example, and you'll get a lovely piano piece once you've stepped inside. It's all really, really good. Now, I've been playing the Xbox Series X version of the game, which is a play anywhere title, with occasional stints on my PC and lots of time on my ROG Ally X. The game runs great on all of these, though a patch introduced towards the end of the review period on Xbox Series X seems to introduce some really bad screen tearing during movement, which I hope is resolved by the time the game becomes publicly available. Having said that, I feel that Xbox is actually the best place to play, and that's mostly because of Quick Resume. The one big flaw that Blueprints has is that it doesn't have the ability to save mid-run. So should you draft a rare room and get stuck on a particular puzzle, if you're on any other platform other than Xbox and need to quit out or turn off the game, you're out of luck. Your run is over. Quick Resume came in handy, enabling me to step away, turn the console off, and come back to it with a refreshed brain in the morning. I also had great fun playing this cooperatively with my partner. It's not a co-op game by any means, but chatting through puzzles and bouncing theories and ideas off of another invested and interested party was a lot of fun, and absolutely factored into why I've enjoyed the hours I've sunk in so far. Now, this is where my job gets difficult, because beyond describing these core mechanics and themes, I'm genuinely loath to tell you anything else. The beauty of the game, and indeed its core design, is in the mystery itself, and to even hint at what awaits for you to uncover inside the halls of Mount Holly is a crime I simply won't commit. To say that I'm utterly infatuated with Blueprints would be an understatement. There are so many layers to the game. I've barely even scratched the surface here in terms of how deep this rabbit hole goes, and I'm 70 plus hours in at the time of writing this review. It is an impeccably made work of absolute genius, and the team at Dogu Bomb and game director Tonda Ross have worked magic here. As I said at the start of this review, I think it's one of the best things I've ever played. Without a doubt a shoo-in for Indie Darling of the Year, man, I'd give this an 11 out of 10 if I could. Go download it and dig in. It's fantastic. Blueprints is available on Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, so there's no excuses if you're a subscriber. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and if you really love what we do, head over to patreon.com/XboxEra where you can support us directly. And we'll see you next time.